Hello friends, I'm Shannon Melanson and today we are going to be making this donut painting. Now, I know a lot of you are stuck at home, so you might not have the right supplies, but don't let that discourage you. We can use anything that we can find in our house with our parents' approval to make these paintings. So if you find that you don't have a canvas at home, maybe you can use a piece of paper or you can find a piece of cardboard that you can use. Just rip it right off of the box or paint right on the box. That works too. If you don't have paint or the right paint colors, this can be a chocolate donut, this could be a strawberry donut. I'm gonna make a chocolate one today, so don't feel like you're stuck with the paint colors. And if you don't have paint, you can use markers, crayons, chalk on black construction paper would look really nice too. So let's get creative with that. Lastly, if you don't have a paintbrush, maybe you can make your own paintbrush. Here is an example of a homemade paintbrush, and it is a clothespin with a little pom-pom on top, or maybe we can use our fingers. Lastly, I just want to let you guys know that you can have fun with this. My painting today is going to look different than the painting that I've already done, and your painting is going to look different too. And that's the beautiful thing about art, is that your own creative flair pops through, and I can't wait to see what you create. Let me run you through the materials that I will be using today, and then we will get started with our painting. I'll be using a 12 by 12 canvas today. Like I said before, if you have paper, different size canvas, a different material to work on, that's wonderful. But I'll be using this 12 by 12 canvas. I also have 3 different paintbrushes. I have a paintbrush that is about 2 centimeters in width. I have another one that is 1 centimeter. And then this last little itty bitty one is about 3 millimeters. I also have a spoon. Kind of weird, right? I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Artists will use anything they can to create their painting. So what are we going to use this for today? Well, I'm going to use the flat end of the spoon here to make the sprinkles on the donut. So I'm going to dip it in the paint and use it like a stamp. We also have a jar of water to clean our paintbrushes, some paper towel to dry our paintbrushes, and then these are the paint colors that I'm using today. And like I said, you can use whichever colors you want to make your own very special donut. Today I will be doing a turquoise background with brown for the icing. And then I also have white. And then these ones are a little bit smaller because they're the colors that I'm going to use to make the sprinkles. So I have orange, yellow, red, pink, and blue. I've also covered my work surface with newspaper so I don't get anything dirty underneath. And you might also want to change into a paint shirt or put an apron on if you can, because if you're like me, sometimes you get a little messy when you paint. All right, let's get started on our painting. Just a reminder that this is what we're doing today. The first step is going to be to make our donut shape. So to do that, you can make your own circle. If you're confident in that, I'm going to use my plate to trace. So I'm going to pick up my tiniest little paintbrush and I'm going to grab the background color that I'm using. So I'm using the turquoise for my background. So I'm going to pick that up on my paintbrush and I'm going to put my plate right in the middle of my canvas. And then I'm going to start tracing that to make a circle. Now, you might need to go back for a little bit more paint every once in a while. Pick up where you left off and just try to get all the way around. We're almost there. Don't worry about it being perfect right now. We're just gonna get that shape in. All right, let's see what that looks like. There we go. And like I said, it's not perfect right now. That's okay, because the beautiful thing about paint is that you can never make any mistakes. You can always paint over it. Next, we need to do the hole in the donut. So to make a nice round hole, I'm going to use my water cup. And again, you're going to pick up the background color that you're using. So I'm going to grab that turquoise again, and I've got my cup right in the center. And now I'm going to paint around that and make my nice little donut hole. Ta-da! We can clean off that little brush now in our cup. And then use your towel to dry it off. Next, we can grab our large paintbrush and we are going to paint in that background. So you can start with your donut hole and we'll just paint in there like so. And then we can also paint our background. Now notice when I'm painting, I'm not going like this, I'm going all different directions. I'm trying to do a nice round stroke because the thing about paint is that texture matters. So if we do brush strokes all over the place, that's what you're going to see when it dries. So try to do some nice round brush strokes around that canvas. Now, if I'm going too fast for you, feel free to pause the video, complete the step, and then press play when you're ready for the next step. So there's my background. This is a good time too, if you're using a canvas, you might also want to paint the edges so that when you hang it up, you have a nice, clean look. So go ahead and paint those sides now too. There's the second one. Third one. And I'll paint the fourth side here. I'll just freshen up the top where I may have touched it or painted over top. Perfect. So there is your background. We can go ahead and clean off that brush. Tap it off. Dry it off on your paper towel. Next, we are going to work on the donut itself. Before the icing goes on, I usually have a nice beige donut. So, I don't have any beige. What do you think we can do if I don't have any beige? We are going to mix brown and white. So I'm going to grab my medium paintbrush and I'm going to take a little scoop just like a shovel and I'm going to pick up some of that brown and I'm going to make a new pile on that plate. Then I'm going to clean my brush really, really well. Don't worry, the paintbrush doesn't have feelings. You can jam it right along the bottom of the cup there. Clean it off, dry it off. Make sure that on your paper towel you're not seeing any streaks. See, I still got some brown there. So I am going to give it another clean. Let's try that again. All right, there we go. So now it's nice and clean. I'm going to take a scoop of my white and I'm going to mix it in with my brown. Now, to mix it well, we're just going to do tiny little circles. Here we go. See how it's starting to mix? Mix, 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 mix. Now, I think I used a little too much brown and not enough white. So I'm going to get some of that paint off so we don't waste any paint. Clean it again. And go ahead and scoop some more white in there. Here we go. Gets a little bit messy. That's okay. There, I'm a little bit more happy with that beige. Guess it's more of a light brown. Okay, so we are going to go in and the icing didn't make it all the way around this donut. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a circle around the outside of our donut. You want to get right up against that turquoise, but it might still be a little bit wet. And if you do, see I got some turquoise in there, so I'm just going to blend it in. It's like it never even happened. So let's get all the way around our donut. And you can have some spots in the line where it's bigger, some spots where maybe your line's a little bit smaller, because icing is never perfect on a donut, is it? Okay, I'll blend that in too. It's going a little oops. And if you get too much turquoise or whatever background color you're using on your brush, just give it a little clean on your paper towel and then start all over again. All right, here we go. We're almost there. Great. And I might not do around the whole inside of the donut because sometimes that icing falls right down the hole. So I'm just gonna do a little tiny bit in the corner. I'm gonna put my medium brush in my cup here and clean it. And I'm gonna go in with my little paintbrush again. And I'm just gonna add in the bottom right of my donut. I'm just gonna put a little bit of beige in there like that. Not go all the way around. Might start a little skinny here. Get a little fatter here. And I get a little skinny again right there. There. All right, now it is time for the icing. Depending on how big your donut is, you might want to use your big brush to paint that in, or you could use your small brush, whatever works best for you. So I said I was going to do a nice chocolate glaze on that. So I'm going in with my big paintbrush, and feel free to put a lot of paint on this one if you have it, because I love the texture of lots of icing on my donut. Now let's go in very carefully along here. It might be easier if you do your outline first. I got a little excited and I started painting right in the middle, but maybe we should do our outline first. Here we go. So here's the inside, and I'm also going to do the outline of my outside. Now you can go nice and slow here, so we can get right in beside. We don't want to see any white popping through our paint. And once again, if I'm going too quickly for you, feel free to pause that video and catch up. All right, we're almost there. Now we can paint the rest of the icing on the donut. Here we go. Once again, just like the background, I'm doing some nice big round brush strokes. Notice how I'm not using the paintbrush like this to paint. I'm finding the wide edge and I'm painting like this. So let's get around there, fill it in. Now it's starting to look like a donut, isn't it? All right. Fix up any little edges there if you need to. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to clean off my paintbrush. And our next step is going to be to add the sprinkles. So we are using the spoon for that, and we are going to try to find one with a flat edge. If you don't have one, try to find something else around your house that has that nice tiny flat edge that looks like a sprinkle. So I'm going to go ahead and use that like a stamp. So to do that, I'm just going to take it and I'm going to dip it in one of my colors. And then I'm going to go around my donut and make some sprinkles. I might get 2 or 3 out of there, and then you'll have to go back in for some more paint if you want a few more in that color. Okay, and then you're going to clean that off with your paper towel. Let's go in with another color. I think I'll use some pink. And I'm making my sprinkles go in all different kinds of directions to make them look like they were randomly sprinkled on there. Clean off my spoon. Maybe go in with some yellow next. Oops, I'll have to go over that one again. I didn't have enough paint on there. Wow, check this out. Here we go. I might put some white sprinkles in there too. I think there are usually some white sprinkles in the pack. I'm starting to overlap the sprinkles a little bit because when you put them on, they're not perfectly on that donut, are they? Some of them overlap a little bit, especially if you like a lot of sprinkles on your donut. What colors am I missing? I haven't put red on yet, so let's put that on next. All right, put some red in there. Lastly, I will add some orange. Here we go. Check that out, friends. Awesome. Now we have one more step to do, and that is to sign your name. So you can pick any color up that you want that you think will go well with your background. I think I'll grab a little white here with my tiniest paintbrush. And you might want to try signing your name or putting your initials if you have a long name and you're just learning your letters. So try it out first on the newspaper, or if you have a spare sheet, just to make sure that you like it, because sometimes people put their name on and they're like, oh, I really wish I hadn't done that. So try it out a few times, make sure you like it first, and then add it right in there. Might need to grab some more paint. And we are done. I would love to see all of the different paintings that you guys make. So in the comments, feel free to take a picture and share your donuts with me. Thanks, everyone.